Folks, welcome finally. Johnny B. And Gator started hot. I'm going to start hot. There's a lot of trash talk. All the haters right now, they're saying that Gator fans are treating us like a bowl win. What do you got to say to that?
Put your money where your mouth is.
That's right. I saw a
Listen, we'll take them how we get them, buddy. Okay, we'll take these wins however we get them. They let them say what let the sayers say, and we'll do what we do.
I tell you, my response to that is, man, like go through what we've been through, and any team has, just it was a huge win on multiple levels for us. That's gonna take me right into my bus again. I said I'm gonna start fast. I know you just came from the Gator shop in the mall, but I'm gonna start fast with some Gators football. That 41-39 win in Columbia on the road in Williams-Brice.
Yeah.
So let me hit you with my boom. All right.
All right.
And I'm gonna give it to you. I got a bunch.
Yeah.
I got a list of booms. Let me start with the Gators pregame. Right. When the music was pumping in the stadium and the stadium was just going nuts, our players were doing the same thing with kind of this, like, okay, we appreciate you bringing the music to our party type attitude.
Exactly.
I loved it. From that moment, I said, hey, we've got something. We've got something. Pearsall, old Ricky, we can't call him Ricky Rocket because that's already taken by a great Florida receiver, good friend Ricky Natil. If he catches us, shout out to you, brother. But we got to get Ricky a nickname. He ain't got it. I ain't found the right one yet. I've seen some people throw that out there, but we'll get to him. Another thing, offense started fast. They started super fast. That's what we wanted. We talked about it when we talked about this last. They started fast. That was impressive. That was next level football. That was Florida football that we've been waiting for a long time. They watched Shane's show, and I think Shane was calling the offense because he wanted to go deep. He said if they go deep 7 times, 8 times, and they complete 3 of them, that's a good night. And they exceeded that expectation. I think Shane was calling it play calling, which has been controversial. All right. We think
you give the old ball credit with that, though, Jack.
Somebody, I don't know if he was on his flip phone, somewhere up in the booth, or I don't know if he had a headset. Incognito. I don't know what it was. I give him credit for calling that 2-point conversion when we needed it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That was good. Right timing on that and great execution. Who knew Trevor Etienne was left-handed?
I knew it was
pretty cool. So great play call, great planning, great execution on that 2-point. Great play calling overall. Mertz career high 30 out of 48, 423 yards with 3 touchdowns.
Right.
Pearsall, my man, I like this dude. This dude's got something. He's got the right attitude, character. Got hands. I don't know. They need to check his hands. Ricky, Ricky Elmer. We call him Ricky Elmer. That's his new last name. Ricky Elmer. Got Elmer's on his hands. But my point in not really those, because those being transfers, we're glad to have you. Glad they're Gators, and they're glad to be Gators, and we want people who want to be Gators, right? And Mertz said it yesterday that he wants to do well in this team. And that was important to me. So, but what that did was that elevated everybody else on the offense.
Yeah.
That was impressive. I still got booms, Donnie. Hold on. I'm not done. So,
man, you just booms.
Yeah, everybody on the offense fed off of that energy, right? Unfortunately, the defense didn't, but they did when they needed it.
Yeah.
And that's to me, that's football. As you step up when you're 10 points down, 9 minutes to go. You need 2 stops. You need 2 scores. And they do it. They do it. Did we question them? I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say if I question the ability to do it.
Right.
So that leads me to the offense finished fast. We said that. Start fast, finish fast. That's what you got.
Yep.
That's what you got. So on top of that, only 6 penalties. Defense only responsible for 2. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't have a great game, but they were only responsible for 2 of those in the defensive backs, young defensive backs. Um, so, and then King Smack. I'll close
Yeah.
it
But
out with this. I'll give it.
yeah,
I'll turn it
they're,
over to your boom with this.
yeah.
Smack, 4 out of 5. He had to block. We can't really discredit him for that.
Hmm.
Went 4 out of 5. Kid is amazing. Think he's think he should be nominated for multiple awards just for what he's done so far. If he finishes out
Right.
the season like he started it, he's definitely going to be one of the best kickers Florida's ever seen. So with that, Donnie, like I said, we're starting fast. I'm about out of breath. I need to take me a swig of Adolf here.
All
Tell
right.
me your boom.
So I got a few booms. You've kind of got in a little of my boom. Believe it or not, it's hard not to. It's an exciting game. First of all, my boom was my first boom basically was Billy Napier. All right, Coach Napier finally got out of his comfort zone and decided that, you know what, I'm going to try it, because he's been kind of like, let's run, and then pass. Well, we did totally opposite, right? I mean, when you stretch that defense and you spread it out, he finally understands in the SEC you got to be more, I think, multi-dimensional. You got to use your skill players, and that's my first boom, because he finally said, "Okay, I'm going to try it." Second thing is that he figured a way to get his team ready, right? Because this has been huge. I mean, the negativity has been Florida can't win on the road. Now I know South Carolina had their bumps and they had their issues and all that. Bottom line is we won. I don't care. Ugly win, win. It don't matter. We won right on the road. We passed that argument. Okay, Florida can win on the road. That's the other one. My next one's is basically, I think we actually showed a multiple skill sets that we haven't shown the whole season, and now they're going to think about one. They're going to think about three. They're going to think about nine. They're going to think about eight. Think about all these dudes. I mean, we got a versatile tight end now. That dude, he's young. Oh my God! But listen, that dude's got some hands on him, right? He's amazing. But Pearsall is the leader of that group. I think they stepped up on the off that part of it. My other boom, Jay, my other boom is that we never quit. We never quit on offense or defense. Our front seven still, man, they had their struggles, but like you said, they basically they stopped them when they needed to. But the bottom line is that they never quit. Florida was down 10 with 5 minutes left, Jay, and they never quit. That's encouraging, because that tells you they can win when they're ahead, and they can tell you when they can win when they're behind. So there's my booms, my man. Yeah, yeah, art. Yeah, yeah. You got. Yeah, all right. They Jay, when you chip in from 15 feet off the green, and you did it 50 times, but you did it one time and it went in. It was the first time you did it. It's so what? But yeah, bars bar. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, we def- we definitely had a few of them for sure. But go ahead, go bus list. Oh, oh wow. Well, yeah, but I mean, there's some things that we overcome a lot of bust. Okay, to bring out some of the boom, but the we talk about starting fast, and we talk about the explosive plays. We had 11 explosive plays. Okay, could have had a couple more than that. Um, I think if I was to, can I give my bust since you're going to be nice today? I mean, let's talk about this. I mean, let's. I mean, this is some things we got to correct before we go to Jacksonville. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. I think our O line on the right side. Um, I'm not going to bring out any names, but I'm going to say a number 75 had so he was. I mean, I know he's playing hard. Okay, I get it, but at the same time, discipline and how to, if you're gonna be a blocking on a blocking scheme, or you're gonna be on a passing scheme, you need how to keep your hands in front where you're not right in front of the ref, and you're grabbing him like on the side and turning him around and hugging him like you're at the prom with him or something. I mean, come on, we got to get better. It's either coaching on that guy, or we got to get, he's got to get quicker feet to get in into play more. Get in front of him, keep your hands inside. It was about keeping your hands inside, not get them to the outside of the shoulders, because that's what the refs are looking at. Keep them inside if you want to do that kind of stuff. And they kept looking at him, and they kept on throwing the flag. And I was like, man, you've got it. Pull him out, put somebody else in. Let's get somebody else in there for a little while so they won't look at number 75. Okay. I don't like throwing names out there on the negativity, because I don't want to call them out. But you can go look at the number if you want to. But um, that's got to be corrected when you go into Georgia. Another thing has to be corrected when we go into Georgia. A lot of the times, the our defense was not ready. They were not set on the play. When South Carolina was driving, I think it was late in the second quarter. They were driving. They were still our linebackers still communicating. Our line's not set. We're not getting in position, and we're not hitting the gaps. Our linebackers are not getting in the right gap. Our gap schemes are not very good right now. We're not working really good at all on the blocking schemes they're in front of, especially on the run game. Our linebackers are not staying in the gaps; they're getting blown out. So the front seven has a lot of work to do if we're going to be successful. Hey, look, a win's a win. I'm not, like I said, but there's some things that are kind of really glaring to me now that we're kind of fine tuning. And I know that recruiting makes the difference, on your defensive line. I mean, your linebackers we have good players. I think they're very young. Matter of fact, we know they're young, but same time, this is a learning, but you got to learn on the job, right? You don't stand on the sideline,
OJT.
huh?
OJT.
Yeah. So it's going to be exposed, but those are the things. And one other thing on my bust was the fact that I didn't like, I didn't feel like our awesome, because I like the kid, our defensive coordinator. I
Oh
like him,
yeah, the young kid. I do like him.
but Jay, he was not ready for this. He was not ready for the moment Saturday.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you might be
It's,
right.
take, it's taking him too long to adjust. He's got to get something. He's got to get those kids on spot ready to go. You can't go see what somebody's will do after a quarter. You can't go to Georgia and be up down 14 and then figure out what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Definitely, and it's a shame because he wants to be. He definitely has the energy to be a Florida defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Age is, I think, a lot to do with it. Experience is a lot to do with it, and I think that'll come over time.
Oh, he'll get in the grill. He'll tell them, man. He's very
Luckily,
charismatic.
there's some talent there surrounding
Yeah,
him
yeah.
that's pulling it off.
But let's get them ready now, right? I mean, because we were talking about the first of the year, wow, how they showed up, and now they've just, I mean, what, and it really started with Kentucky, how they just gutted us, and we never made the adjustments till the second half. We cannot do that. We got to watch some tape, and we got to make sure our linebackers are getting in the gaps to make those plays. And it's going to take an effort. It's going to take all that whole front seven to make sure they are staying in position, not getting out of position, not taking bad angles. Because our corners and our safeties are young, but yet if we can kind of control that and stay in the gap, understand that scheme, then we have an opportunity on the back end to make plays, turnovers, knocking the ball out or something like that. But they're getting blown out on this. They're not even getting there because they're not even ready when the ball snapped. So those are my busts, buddy.
Yeah, so I will add to the defensive bust, and I saw better play from up front than I did from our defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see. I hate to count any Gator that wears a helmet, count them out. They're you really got to
Mm-hmm.
fuck up for me to throw you out
Right,
as a Gator. But
right.
I'd really love to see more out of our upperclassman Kimber, and
Yeah.
he did well. There were times he stepped up and did his job. And again, I didn't have any busts. I didn't want to do this to him, but those two juniors that we have at defensive back, they need
No,
to step up a little more. And I
yeah.
understand, sometimes us fans take it for granted, but sometimes a pass interference is better than giving up a big play, right?
Right.
As a defensive back, and with a defensive back mindset, that's my thought sometimes. Is I will pull a jersey before
Right.
he scores on this.
Right.
Okay, because otherwise, if I don't pull his jersey, he's gone and he's done to the house, and that's my only defense. So I'm gonna pull this jersey a little bit. So I don't want to give the guy too much shit, but I thought the defense responded to the ball well, reacted to the ball well. I think they got to a lot of missed tackles are still a tackling issue. I don't know who's teaching tackling. I don't know if they have a tackling coach, but the method of tackling I'm not happy with.
Oh, we got
Uh,
an army. We got a plenty of coaches. We got.
Aside from that, and this is completely unbiased, I give my biggest bust to the officiating crew.
Oh my God! Right.
And I on one hand, I'm glad they let some of these defensive backs play.
Yeah.
Play with each other. I think they understood that they were young. I don't know what it was. Maybe they understood they were young, but they did allow a lot of these defensive backs. But even on South Carolina side, in moments where I was like, "Oh shit, there's a flag," and one didn't come out, and it was right in front of the official, and I'm thinking. And then we got one. It was early in the game, and I wrote it on my notes. I got 6 pages of notes from this game, by the way. And I'll encourage Gator fans that if you don't take notes on the game, you should. Just for not for any reason, not for any other reason, but just to really go back and look at the good and the bad throughout the game. It's really enlightening. But it was early in the game, so I totally lost my train of thought right there. I did it on purpose.
It, you're
But
talking
they
about.
they called the Gators. They called the Gators for one, and I wrote it down. And then they missed two. They missed two on South Carolina, and I was like, "Come on now, you called us for a pass." And granted, that was a blatant pass interference on the Gator defense. But then two, blatant pass interferences later on the South Carolina defense, it's like, all right, come on, man. But then I noticed it was going both ways kind of later in the game. And maybe that's credit to the officials for letting them kids play. and letting it be exciting and letting them go out there. And as long as because I will say everybody's behavior was on point. That was better. We cleaned that up on the field of putting our hands in people's faces, especially after the play. I didn't see any of that. I really didn't see a whole lot of chipping back and forth. So kudos to the Gators for that and not taking, stupid penalties over the game. Bust to the officials. And if I got to give one to the Gators, I have to give mine to the Gator secondary. And it's just because they're young. No harping on them. They're just young.
Well, I mean, look, South Carolina's got some outstanding skills. Look, listen, when you get in SEC, you have this is something that's kind of resonated with me listening to Shane a little bit, which makes a lot of sense, is that, look, those dudes on the other side of the ball, they're coached too, right? They're going to make plays. I mean, they're going to make plays. You just hope you make more plays than they do. But, we've got I don't have a problem with our really and truly what I think. This is what I think. Okay. And I think this is what's exposing the backside of the defense. All right. I think, so when you have a situation where you're not putting any pressure on the quarterback whatsoever, you got to cover longer. I mean, you know what I mean? Not moving around. That's where I say the front seven. Our blitz packages, for some reason, we're not getting to the quarterback. We're not putting any pressure on him. So you're putting our corners, our young corners, you're putting you're putting them in a situation where Jason Marshall, I mean, I know he's a junior. He hasn't played a whole lot. Okay. He might be a junior, but he hadn't played a whole lot. And then you got Kimber. I mean, those guys are just now kind of, coming into a lot of playing time. So we're putting a lot of pressure on those guys, but we got it. We can make it happen for sure, but that's okay, because I'll tell you what, they're all coming. We're growing up, man. They're babies. 80% of our.
I can't wait, man. If they'll just stick with us, and stick it out and see the Gator program through, I think that's going to come around. Hey, I want to get into our do's and don'ts in the bye week coming up. Let's take a quick break. I need to fill my cup up, use the bathroom.
Do that.
We'll be right back. All right, Donnie B. Like I said, if we started fast, we got to finish fast. I want to take a whole lot of your time. I know Miss Nadine has some things that you had to go travel to Gainesville for and go stop by the Gator shop as well. I hope she's well. Um,
It's great.
anyhow, let's talk about do's and don'ts going into the bye week. We'll cover going into Georgia. We'll cover that next week on
Right.
next week's show. But the bye week's important, and the win makes it even more important. It makes it better, but it
Right.
makes it important. And the do's and don'ts. I'll let you lead this off on the bye week. What do we need to do in this off week between now and next Monday morning?
All right. So my dues. First thing we need to do is get healthy. All right. Number one. And it's not just like uh, rehabbing from injuries and all that, but making sure you eat right. Make sure you stay in your same when you get into like a kind of a constant routine. You need to stay in that routine, just like you're in trying to stay in game shape. And you need to study tape this week. Okay, this is a week where you need to be studying your next opponent. I don't think you just kind of shut it down. I've heard that coaches, one of the old bowl coach said that they practiced on the game on the off week. They practiced Monday and Tuesday and took off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday because he wanted to go to the beach. So so that's good, okay, but that's his routine. But these kids are young. They need to stay on. They need to study a lot of tape because there's a lot of reasons why they need to get better. It's not a veteran team. That's a big difference, right? So get healthy, study a lot of tape, and prepare this week just like you're playing this Saturday. That's my dues.
Okay, I like those. That's my one of my dues is recover,
Mm-hmm.
and
Sure.
and and I kind of mean those bodily. I'm talking about those that need bodily recovery. Graham Mertz
Right.
mentioned it in his press conference post game Saturday that there's a lot of guys that are just banged up. I know he was pretty banged up in the third quarter, and
Mm-hmm.
and he usually in most games is out there just putting his body on the line, just getting banged the hell up. I know Ricky Pearsall's got to be banged up. I know these running backs got to be banged up because they are just. I mean, they're balling. They're going all out. So those
Right.
are those are the body recoveries I'm talking about on a physical level. Um, on other than that is to your point, keep the momentum that you had last week. And that
Mm-hmm.
was they mentioned again in the press conference that everything they did throughout the week had a sense of urgency. They started everything fast from film to, practice and
Right.
workouts. Everything started fast and they finished fast. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that continue, that momentum continue throughout the week, that sense of urgency continue throughout the next couple of weeks. But also, I'd love to see just our offense, our guys, our speed guys, just try out, not really try out, but work out what you need to work out with Georgia on our defense, and don't hold back. Like obviously hold back, don't injure each other, but don't hold back. Run it down our defense's throat and coach properly. Get these things, you know, um, these
Yeah.
little
Don't,
misses
don't,
that our
yeah.
secondaries grow them boys up. But you got a couple weeks to grow them boys up, and
Yeah.
maybe it hurts. Maybe it's
Right.
um, but whatever. Just maintain that focus. Definitely take care of your body. You have a couple weeks to get some rest, and I think you should do that, especially in these first days, and then get you a little break because you're used to playing a game. So find whatever it is that works for you. I know do the extra is what their focus was last week. in practice too, was just doing a little extra, finding something extra to do. And
Right.
so I hope that mindset's just to continue. I hope the mindset was a lot like we had back in those championship years where this isn't easy. That there is a lot of work that goes in Monday through Friday
Right.
to put in those win after win after win on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
hurts. It hurts,
Yeah.
physically hurts to go in and do these things and put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And I like that when we got it's a good testament to what happens in practice is that when we got in uncomfortable situations, we performed. So
Hmm.
something's happening in practice, on a situational basis, that they're allowing those kids to step up and perform, especially the young guys. Like I hated giving that to the defense because they stood up when our Gator defense needed to step up and make two stops, and they did it. But
They know better than anybody, though. They
I
know
would
what they.
love to see just our offense, the best our offense has over the next couple of weeks. Just throw it down our defense's throat. Everything from the air game that we had. What an impressive air game, man. Like 423 yards in the air, I think it was. That's just
Long overdue.
long overdue. Career high for
Yeah.
Graham Mertz.
Yeah.
And again, we don't know if Billy Napier was making the calls or who was making the calls to, do it that way. But we do appreciate the Gators going out there and performing and living up to the Gator expectation. That's
Yeah.
definitely a character and a culture that you have to develop when you come and put on that helmet. And we appreciate you going on the road. And we know how important it was. I think you understand how important it was for us to do this. And I hope that it was that much or more important to you to go do it. So
Yeah.
keep doing that for us, man. Enjoy the off week, Gators, Gator fans. I don't know what do we got coming up this week in college football, Donnie? You probably know better than I do.
Oh, we got some big games coming up, but do we gonna do the don'ts real quick?
Yeah, let's do. Yeah, we do. I do have that on my thing.
Yeah.
So go ahead and steal that for me.
So I want to do some don'ts, and then we'll get into what's happening the rest of this weekend. But first of all, this is what happens even on the golf course. I know we use a lot of analogies of the golf course, but when you have a big round, you go out there and you rub your belly and say, "Well, I got this figured out." Whatever, and you don't really work as hard. You don't go back to the range. You don't get back to the putting green, and you're not doing your same things. You're doing things that are different. So don't rub your belly too much. Enjoy, like I'm sure that Napier says, "Hey, when they had the post game, I'm sure Napier says, enjoy it tonight, boys. Enjoy it, to tomorrow, and then we're gonna get back to work. Rest up this week, but we're gonna start focusing on them Georgia Bulldogs. Because listen, somebody's gonna bring them down, right? Somebody's gonna bring them down. So don't lose you. That's one of my don'ts. So don't rub your belly too much. Also, don't get complacent. Don't get complacent. Do make sure that you stay focused. The opportunity still ahead of you. Still numerically, if we beat Georgia, we're in the driver's seat. All right, of winning the SEC. Nobody expected this team to be anywhere close to even having a conversation. Some of them picked some of the wonderful I call them has-beens or whatever, but they would some of them were giving Florida, I think, 3 wins on the year. I mean, what an insult to our program, uh, you know, it always seems to me that on that part of it that if you're a Gator, you're a Gator, but if you're not a Gator, you're a Gator hater. You know what I mean? There's none of
Yes,
this.
sir.
Well,
Yes,
we enjoyed
sir.
watching the game.
If
We'll
you ain't a
find some
Gator, you're
positive.
Gator bait.
That's right, and it's been like that. Even I think even sometimes on the official side, but those two, don't rub your belly, don't get complacent, and don't forget where you are right now and what your goals are, that you still have not met any of your goals, and just stay on task, stay in the process, listen to your coaches, and man, they can have a successful year. I'm still on the page of a 7-8 win season. And it's not going to be easy from here on out. So this is the only week we have to breathe a little bit. So stay focused, but yet get ready for the second half because it's going to be a fun ride. with all these young bucks, watching our Gators perform the next few games.
It's definitely put an expectation out there, and I know it may be unrealistic. I'm not going to say unrealistic because anything can happen. Um, but it a 7, that was one of those there's a lot of 50-50 games out there, and what's been so shaky to me is that it doesn't matter whether it's a 50-50 or an 80-20. They could still go out there and upset you. So
Yeah, that's
it's hard to say that any of them's 50-50 at this point. Especially it's hard to count the Gators out. It's hard to count them out of the SEC because they could, the way they performed and the way they stepped up, and again, this is not on really the play by play. It was really the effort and the dedication to not lose. And there's a
right.
difference between being good enough to win, but being good enough that you won't lose. And like you said, an ugly
Right.
win is still a win. And a
Dang
win in
right.
Jacksonville, no matter how pretty it may be, I would love for Trevor to go on his brother's home turf over there and just run it down their throats. And that stadium, just let that stadium be ETN Bank Stadium from here on out. I'm okay with that. But
Yeah.
however, Donnie B, anything you want to say before we head out and close this Talking Gator?
Yeah. Look, I just know that we got to understand where we are at a program is hard because we all like to just win, win, win. But I would like to challenge the listeners and the Florida fan base. Win or lose, let's get behind this team. Let's get behind this coach. Let's have some positive vibes out there moving forward. It pays off with recruiting. It pays off with social media. It pays off with the opportunity we have as Gator Nation is to all come together. We say it, we sing it, all kinds of weather. We all stick together, right? And so what I've been reading in media and stuff like we've been a bunch of hypocrites, but we need to get behind our coach. I think he's a really, really good dude. I think he has great morals. He has a lot to teach these kids, and evidently he's listening because he's willing to try some new things. So go Gators!
Amen, brother. Go Gators. And I'll go through my don'ts, close us out, and to kind of go along with what you said. My first don't is don't get injured in practice over these 2 weeks. Especially with that momentum, taking that momentum into the week and trying to accomplish a goal and climb a mountain like the Georgia Bulldogs. Just be mindful of that in practice and be mindful of your body there. And then the to you when you say the Gator fans, I would tell the players stay off social media. Don't listen to the hate, okay? Because the hate's going to weigh heavier than the praise. And I would
Yeah,
just say Gator fans, man, if you're ever in Gainesville, you guys in Gainesville, when you drive by the practice field, lay on the horn, show support somehow, holler out the window, go Gators, and I tell the players stay off social media, stay away from the hat, stay focused on that goal, keep your nose to the grind because that's what got you to that win in Columbia. So Donnie B, I appreciate you.
appreciate you, man.
Let's do this, and everybody else. I'll see you Saturday morning for a real quick Talking Gator. Donnie, you can join me if you'd like to Saturday morning Talking Gator. If not, I'll be here. Just kind of prep. Oh no, no Talking Gator this Saturday morning. No game, so
Right.
I ain't got
We
shit.
got good games coming out though, Jay. I mean, you got the you got Tennessee and Alabama, uh,
I'm not
which
getting on here talking about anybody else on Saturday morning, especially if my
well,
Gators ain't play.
I'm just got some good games at the SEC. Is look, it's all kind of bringing itself together. The surprise team that is out there right now is Missouri, man. Well, who would have thought it? That quarterback, that kid is just throwing it like throwing darts. But there's some matchups coming up, man, every weekend from here on out the rest of the year. It's exciting to see how this thing comes out. But I would just look, man, can you imagine what it would be like if we are the first team to beat the Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, you don't want to put that. Yeah.
And you
Let's talk about that next week,
I'm
Coach.
just imagining, Jay. I'm just imagining. I'm not saying, they did lose their tight end, by the way. Just saying.
All right, everyone. I have been your number one four-string Monday morning quarterback, joined by the greatest
Put me in, Coach.
desk chair assistant head coach there, Donnie B.
Put me in, Coach.
See
Put
you
me in,
guys
Coach.
Monday. Hey, if you like what we've done, just hit that like and share. Otherwise, we're out. Go Gators.
All right, guys.